Introduction. My group members are really grateful because we managed to complete this assignment within the time given by our lecturer for this subject. This assignment cannot be complete without the effort and cooperation from our group members, which is Helmi Kadir, Nurul Shamsina, and myself, Ikram Aizid. We also would like to express our gratitude to our friends for the support and willingness to spend some time with us. The unemployment rate can be defined as the number of unemployed persons divided by the labor force in particular region, such as a state or country. The labor force is the number of unemployed persons plus the number of employed persons. More simply put, the unemployment rate is the percentage of the total workforce that is unemployed and is looking for employment. The unemployment rate is one of the most closely watched statistics because a rising rate indicates a weakening economy. Conclusion. It said in May 2019, only 39% of the 500 respondents surveyed said they were worried about unemployment. At the same time, concerns over corruption and crime had fallen. Some of them may still be working at food stalls but found their income slashed. Here is why the problem of underemployment comes in. It was already a big problem before the pandemic because Malaysia has a big informal economy where the official statistic may not be capture those employed in these informal sectors. While it was challenging to manage even the formal sector during the pandemic, the government has done relatively well in this sector because the peak of unemployment of 5.3%, which is the highest unemployment rate ever for Malaysia, was brought down to 4.5% in May this year through the various initiatives in our package, reskilling, upskilling and wage subsidies. But that was before the current total lockdown. And looking what is happening on the ground to the number for June, which will be announced shortly, is expected to go up. So the government will have to work harder to ensure that the actual unemployment figures for the subsequent month after June onwards can be brought down. With the ongoing dine-in ban in Peninsular Malaysia, F&B Association were pessimistic that up to 60% of food and beverage operators in the country would shut permanently within the next 2 months. According to Minister of Entrepreneur Development and Cooperative (MEDAC), Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tunku Jaafar, up to 580,000 businesses representing 49% of the micro, small and medium enterprise (MSME) sectors are at risk of closing down by October. The current curriculum emphasizes less on matching training to available jobs, causing employers to be unsatisfied with the skill sets of graduates. While they do have possessed the technical know-how needed in the industry, their soft skills are comparatively weaker and may hinder their competency in day-to-day operations. Many more young people will face difficulty transitioning from irregular and informal work to decent employment. Growing number of NEET youth may become increasingly detached from the labor market. Here are some suggestions for the government to consider. Number 1, stimulate new employment and entrepreneurship by focusing on the most vulnerable young people and getting them to work. Those young people who have lost their jobs should be supported through employment services, entrepreneurship schemes, and programs that target their entry or re-entry into work. They could either be trained for wage job employment or becoming entrepreneurs. After the training, the government has to continue monitoring their progress for a minimum of 6 months to ensure its program have long-lasting positive effect. Number 2, connect youth with valuable job-related resources. Partnering with the private sector at the local level is essential to identify the labor market demand and help raise awareness and improve the attitude of the private sector on setting up decent working conditions while promoting youth employability. Keeping young people in the formal economy calls for the initiative that make them less likely to seek money-making opportunities through informal activities. Number 3, providing youth targeted wage subsidy program. Number 4, supporting the young in employment planning and job research assistance. Number 5, providing standardized government credential to all TVET institutions so that the employers have a clear idea of the skills and accreditation possessed by their graduates and preventing overlap in the given training. Number 6, developing programs for youth in rural areas that are centered around job creation and skills training to support rural livelihoods and help those in informal economy to shift to the formal economy. The severe economy and labor market impact as a result of the pandemic on youth employability and employment requires urgent, large scale and targeted response. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Hilmi bin Abdul Qadir. So for this assignment, I'm going to cover on the parts of the ideas on solving the highlighted issues. So based on the case study given, as Malaysia enter a new phase of COVID-19 wave, it is impossible to say where are the top will be because fresh highs are recorded on a regular basis as previously. As a result, it is critical to prepare the community to face a financial and physiological problems by analyzing and revising the technique used in the previous year. If the pandemic continues to affect people's bread and butter, tiredness will set in, leading to Malaysian society abandoning current standard operating procedure SOPs in the COVID-19 preventive tactics or measures. So this has happened in the nations like Indonesia and India, where survival has taken precedence over COVID-19 prevention SOPs. So firstly, the ideas that to prevent this is like the uncertainties. So the employment can be settled, can be solved if planned properly by the government from the start. So the uncertainties of a lengthy lockdown and political crisis could impede Malaysia's economic growth by 2022. By having a stable political condition, we can improve unemployment rate and offer more vacancies due to stable economics. So businesses want political stability since they invest a lot of money in building up facilities after they have permissions and licenses to operate in different areas and states. So furthermore, even throughout the process of obtaining land and other assets, they want government assistance to make the process easier. So the secondly, firm decision in policy making and enforcement. So we need a firm decision in policy making. As the situation of COVID-19 in the economy worsened, policy indecisions, political instability, and politicians acting as they are above the law in complying with SOP will result in erosions of people's faith. So with the implementing uncertainties and declaration of emergency, so the government will facing instability and trust in the next elections. After that, thirdly, in order to reduce the number of employment, we need to enhance educational standard. Increasing graduation rates and level of education attainment will accomplish little if students do not learn something for lasting value. Yet in a recent year, federal initiative has focused far more on growing the numbers of Americans who attend college than enhancing the quality of education received once they do. So lastly, the number 4, in which enforcement in ensuring high vaccination rates. We know vaccination can help in maintaining a safe bubble in our society. So vaccination can be defined as the act of introducing a vaccine into the body to produce protections against specific disease. This is by the National Center of Immunizations and Respiratory Disease. So with the announcement that COVID-19 vaccination are now accessible in Malaysia after clearing the necessary clinical studies, so the situation appears to be improving. Effective efforts to solve the economic concern, on the other hand, are still absent. It is widely believed that the public trust in the government is strongly linked to the economy health. The findings of the study done in Sabah and secondary data gathered from the government institutions at the national level of Malaysia indicated to one common ground, namely the suffering experienced by the majority of Malaysians during COVID COVID-19 pandemic. I think that's all for me. There is 4 ways of us that we think suitable to take care and to ideas on solving the highlighted issue. Thank you so much.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Shamsina binti Shawal. So today I would like to present our group assignments, and my part I will discuss regarding unemployment and also the types of unemployment. So first thing first, before I start my explanations, I will go to the unemployment definitions. So unemployment can be defined as when individual hunting for a job but they can't find a job. So when they can't find a job, the unemployment arises. Unemployment is one of the major crises happen all over the world actually, not only in Malaysia. So when the term unemployment measure the economics by the economics health. The unemployment rate is usually used for measuring unemployment. So basically, it will use the employed individuals divided by the number of labor force people. Next, the report as per International Labour Organizations said that about 200 million globally, or about 6% of the complete workforce, was unemployed in 2012. So in that manner, let's glimpse through the few aspects of unemployment and the various aspects related to it. There are so many types of unemployment. So the prime cause of unemployment basically because of the certain categories that we will discuss after on this presentation, which is the first thing, the structural unemployment, whereas the time when there is a mismatch of the skills in the work industry, this unemployment will occur because of some of them are partitioned as like geography immobility, technology changes, and the structure of economics. So when we talk about the occupational immobility, so it is occupational immobility is kind of unemployment happen when the candidates is unable to learn the new skills which need to be applied in the new industry along with the changes in the technology. For example, the farmer unable to work in the higher technology because they don't have the skills. They don't know how to use the new skills. We go to the technology changes. Nowadays, all the big firm will use as the machine as the main production to process the labor saving technology and lead to the falling in labor. This has been the main reason for unemployment after the technology advance. So we can see nowadays all the firm will using the technology such as machine to replace the labor force in order to produce more productions and save costs on labor force. Next, we go to the structural change in the economy, where the structural change that happened in a nation is another reason for this unemployment. For example, the weakening of the coal mines because of the absence of competitiveness has made a number of coal mine workers unemployed. So these people cannot find a job in any new industry, which includes the computers and also the technology. We go to the next factors, which is a frictional unemployment. This type of frictional unemployment prevails in many countries. These types of unemployment is the period which is taken by the individual while they change their jobs. For example, the graduates who try to find another job, and it surely takes a few times in order to find another jobs. And we go to the real wage or classical unemployment. This type of unemployment takes place when the wage in the competitive job market move in above equilibrium. For example, when the supply of the labor is higher than the demand of the labor, this type of unemployment takes place. So times when trade unions and labor organization bargain for the higher wage are when these types of unemployment happens. This lead to the decline in demand for the labor. We go to the last point, where is voluntary unemployment. The voluntary kind of unemployment one where people try to be unemployed, then being employed. A simple example that can be used is that the individual able to get a good benefits, then they prefer to stay back with the benefits rather than being employed. Frictional unemployment also falls under this category, where individuals tend to choose a job until they wanted an appropriate one. Thank you.